students, I Rajeshwari Shirkanhalli welcome you all in Nagesh Karasgi Orchid School channel. In the last session, we were discussing about chapter number 10, reaching the age of adolescence. In that session, we have discussed what changes take place in the body during the period of adolescence. We have seen that the changes like increased activity of oil glands and sweat glands, then increased activity of hormones, then secondary sexual characters we have discussed about. Then after that we have discussed about reproductive phase of life. We have seen that the reproductive phase in female is from menarche to menopause, means it starts at menarche and ends at menopause. What is menarche? It is the beginning of menstrual flow. It begins at the age of 10 to 12 years, and menopause means it is the stoppage of menstrual cycle. It occurs at the age of 45 to 50 years. So again it varies from person to person. Okay, today we will continue with the next concept, that is how is the sex of the baby is determined. So let us begin. Let us see whether the boy child is taking birth or girl child is taking birth. On what factors it depend. Now Paheli is saying here that she heard. See, let us see what she has heard. Paheli says, I heard my mother and my aunt talking about my cousin who is going to have a baby. So here Paheli's cousin is going to have a baby and her mother and aunt are talking about that. They were discussing whether she would give birth to a boy or a girl. I wonder what makes the fertilized egg develop either into a boy or a girl. So we are going to discuss that the child is a boy child or girl child, on what factors it depends, and who is responsible for the growth of a boy or a girl. So let us see a boy or a girl. Boy or girl, inside the fertilized egg, which is called as zygote, is the instruction for determining the sex of baby. So some information, some instruction is there inside the zygote, with the help of which the sex of the baby can be determined. This instruction is present in the thread like structures called as chromosomes in the fertilized egg. Students, you know that there are 23 pairs of chromosomes are there in human body. 23 pairs means total 46 chromosomes. Out of these 46 chromosomes, one pair of chromosomes, means 2 chromosomes, are called as sex chromosomes, and these are the chromosomes which are responsible for determining the sex of the body. Recall from chapter 8 that chromosomes are present inside the nucleus of every cell. Okay, in last chapter, that is in chapter number 8, we have discussed that every cell consists of nucleus, and inside the nucleus there are some thread like structures which are called as chromosomes. All human beings have 23 pairs of chromosomes in the nuclei of their cells. So as I have just told that the total number of chromosomes in the human beings is 23 pairs, means 46 chromosomes, and where are their location? They are present in the nuclei of their cells. 2 chromosomes out of these are the sex chromosomes. They are named as X and Y. Okay, X and Y are the 2 chromosomes which are called as sex chromosomes. A female has 2 X chromosomes, while a male has 1 X and 1 Y chromosome. So both the chromosomes in female are same, they both are X, and whereas in males 1 X and 1 Y chromosomes are there. The gametes, that is egg and sperm, have only one set of chromosomes. So when the fertilization takes place, one chromosome of male and one chromosome of female, they get united. So, the gametes, egg is the gamete of female reproductive organ and sperm is the gamete of male reproductive organ. They have only one set of chromosomes. The unfertilized egg always has one X chromosome, but sperms are of two kinds. One kind has an X chromosome and the other kind has a Y chromosome. So, as in females both the chromosomes are of same type, so unfertilized eggs have only one type, that is only X chromosome. Okay, so it has only X chromosome, and whereas in male, as there are two different type of sex chromosomes are present, one is X and one is Y. So, in unfertilized gamete there may be X chromosome or there may be Y chromosome. Now, look at the figure 10.4. When a sperm containing X chromosome fertilizes the egg, the zygote would have two X chromosomes and develop into a female child. Okay, just look at the figure. In the figure you will see this is a male having XY chromosome and female having XX chromosome. So, if suppose the X chromosome of female and Y chromosome of male, they get united, then the combination of the baby is XY, and as you know that XY means it is a male, and if the X chromosome of female gets united with X chromosome of male, then the combination is XX type, that means the child is a girl child. Okay, so the zygote would have X chromosomes and develop into a female child when X and X combination is there, but if the sperm contributes a Y chromosome to the egg or ovum at fertilization, the zygote would develop into a male child. That means from this you can understand that whether the child is a female child or male child, it totally depends on the male, not on the female. Why? Because in girl both the chromosomes are XX, so the gamete has only X, and whereas in the male the chromosomes are XY. So, the gamete may have X or Y, and if X sperm unites with X chromosome of egg, then the result is XX, that is girl child, and if the Y sperm unites with X egg, then the result is XY, that is a male child, a boy child. Now, you know that the sex chromosomes of the father determine the sex of an unborn baby. Why? Because father has two different type of chromosomes, X and Y, and whereas mother has only one type of chromosome, that is X. So, the birth of the child, whether the boy child is going to take birth or girl child, it totally depends on the father, not on the mother. The belief that mother is responsible for the sex of her baby is completely wrong, and to blame her for this is totally unjustified. We see in the society that always mother gets blamed for giving birth to girl child especially, and she get harassment and many different things takes place, wrong things takes place with her in her family, but this is totally unjustified because she is innocent. It does not depend on the mother whether the boy child or girl child will take birth, it totally depends on the father. So, based on the chromosome of father, boy or girl child can take birth. Now, let us discuss about some of the hormones other than sex hormones. So, let us see some of the important hormones. Look at the figure 10.3 again. The hormone secreted by the pituitary stimulates testes. The hormones secreted by the pituitary, they stimulate the testes and ovaries to produce their hormones. You have already learnt that the pituitary gland is an endocrine gland which is attached to the brain. So, you can see here the location of pituitary gland in this figure. So, this Pituitary gland is an endocrine gland and it is attached to the brain. That's why the pituitary gland controls all the glands in the body. Apart from the pituitary, the testes and ovaries, there are other endocrine glands in the body such as thyroid gland, pancreas and adrenals, which all are shown here in this figure. Just have a look at this figure. Here you can see the different glands and even their locations in the human body. The first one is pituitary gland, which is connected to the brain. Then this is thyroid gland. Then this is adrenal gland. This is pancreas. Then this is the position of the ovary in female and this is the position of testis in male. So, these are the position of some of the endocrine glands in the human body. Pituitary gland, thyroid gland, adrenal gland, then pancreas, then ovary in female and testis in male. Now, Bhujo and Paheli had once visited their aunt who was a doctor, and remember that a boy named Kaka had a very big and bulging throat. So, once what happened, Bhujo and Paheli, they visited their aunt and their aunt was a doctor. There they saw one boy whose name was Kaka. They found that Kaka's throat was bulging, very big and bulging throat they found. Their aunt had told them that Kaka was suffering from goiter. So, goiter is a disease of thyroid gland. Kaka's thyroid gland was not producing the hormone thyroxine. So, the function of thyroid gland is to release the hormone thyroxine, to produce thyroxine, and if thyroxine is not produced properly, then the person gets a bulging throat, that is a disease of the throat called as goiter. So, here Kaka was having this disease as thyroxine hormone was not produced properly by thyroid gland. Now, for the proper functioning of this thyroid gland, means for the proper production of the hormone thyroxine, iodine is must, and that is why it is always suggested by the doctors that you should consume iodized salt. Why? Because iodine makes the thyroid gland, stimulates the thyroid gland to produce hormone thyroxine. Otherwise, goiter disease occurs, but consumption of iodine should be very less, otherwise it creates other problems in the body. Now, their aunt was also told them that their uncle was suffering from diabetes because his pancreas was not producing the hormone insulin in sufficient quantities. Okay, all of you are familiar with the disease diabetes. Why diabetes occurs? If pancreas does not function properly, if insulin hormone is not produced properly, then what happens? See, what is the function of insulin? It controls the blood sugar in the body. Okay, so when the person eats more sweets, then more insulin hormone is produced by pancreas to control that sugar, and if the person eats less sweet dishes, then pancreas produces less hormones insulin. Means this sugar level in the blood gets controlled by the hormone insulin. But if suppose the pancreas is not functioning properly, it is not producing the insulin in sufficient quantities, then the blood sugar level increases in the person's body and the person gets diabetes. Now, Bhujo and Paheli then asked their aunt about the adrenal glands, which are also shown in the chart hung on the wall of her clinic. So, here Bhujo and Paheli found one chart in the clinic of their aunt. There were some names of glands and their location were shown. So, there was one gland, that is adrenal gland, and these two children, Bhujo and Paheli, they asked their aunt about the adrenal glands. The aunt told them that the adrenal glands secrete hormones which maintain the correct salt balance in the blood. So, in the blood the balance of salt also should be maintained, and this is done by secretion of adrenaline, which is done by adrenal glands. Adrenals also produce the hormone adrenaline. It helps the body to adjust to the stress when one is very angry, embarrassed or worried. So, in these different situations, in the anger, embarrassment or worry, the body gets adjusted to the stress. That is done because of the hormone adrenaline, and this adrenaline is produced by adrenal glands. So, students, all the glands are very important as they perform very particular and very important functions. Now, thyroid and adrenals secrete their hormones when they receive orders from the pituitary through its hormones. So, this is the pituitary hormone which gives all the orders to the different glands to secrete different hormones. Pituitary also secretes growth hormone, which is necessary for the normal growth of person. So, the normal growth of person takes place because of the growth hormone which is secreted by the pituitary gland. Okay, now you have understood that adrenal gland, they release adrenaline which is helpful in adjusting the body during the stress conditions, that is during the anger, embarrassment or worry. Similarly, we have discussed that thyroxine is produced by thyroid gland, which is again very important for the proper growth, otherwise the person suffers from goiter. And pancreas release insulin which controls the blood sugar. Now, Bhujo is having a question. Are there hormones in other animals also? What do you think? Yes, you are right. There are hormones in animals also. Have they play any role in reproduction? Yes, of course. They also play important role in reproduction. So, let us discuss about that. Let us move to the next concept, that is role of hormones in completing the life history of insects and frogs. Till now we have discussed about the role of hormones in the human body. We have discussed about different hormones, pituitary which is secreted by pituitary gland, testosterone which is secreted by testes, estrogen which is secreted by ovaries. After that we have discussed about insulin which is secreted by pancreas, then thyroxine which is secreted by thyroid gland, and adrenaline which is secreted by adrenal glands. Now, let us discuss about the role of hormones in completing the life history of insects and frogs. You have already learnt about the life history of silk moth and frog. The caterpillar has to pass through various stages to become an adult moth. So, the caterpillar when passes through different stages, then it becomes an adult. Recall from class 7 the stages of life history of the silk moth. Similarly, the tadpole passes through certain stages to become frog. So, you all know about the life history of insects and frogs. The change from larva to adult is called as metamorphosis. Okay. So, that is also again you have learnt in last chapter, in reproduction chapter, that when the larva becomes adult, it is called as metamorphosis. Metamorphosis in insects is controlled by insect hormones. So, how there are hormones in human body, like that there are hormones in the insects also. So, metamorphosis process is controlled by insect hormones. In a frog, it is controlled by thyroxine, the hormone produced by thyroid. Means in the frogs also there are thyroid glands. They also produce hormone named as thyroxine. thyroxine produces required the presence of iodine in water. So, for the production of thyroxine by the thyroid gland, there must be iodine. Iodine should be present in water. If the water in which the tadpoles are growing does not contain sufficient iodine, the tadpoles cannot become adults. So, metamorphosis takes place because of thyroxine. It is controlled by thyroxine, which is secreted by thyroid gland, and for this process to take place, there must be iodine in the water. Otherwise, if the water in which tadpoles are growing does not contain sufficient iodine, the tadpoles cannot become adults. Means hormones play very important role in insects as well as frogs. Now, Bhujo has a question. He is asking, if people do not have enough iodine in their diet, will they get goiter caused by lack of thyroxine? Absolutely right. So, for the thyroid gland to produce thyroxine in human body, there must be the presence of iodine. So, if iodine is not there, then thyroid glands are not able to produce thyroxine and humans get a disease, throat disease called as goiter. Okay students, now there is an activity for you. In this activity, you are going to collect information from magazines or from doctors and prepare a note on the importance of consuming iodized salt. Just now I have told that you should consume iodized salt, then only you will get iodine. Then iodine should be present for the thyroid glands to produce thyroxine. Then the growth of the body takes place properly. So, you are going to get information from magazines or from doctors and find out the importance of consuming iodized salt. You can also look for this information on the internet. So, you can also search this information with the help of internet. So, this is about the importance of iodine for producing thyroxine from thyroid gland. Now, let us move to the next concept, that is reproductive health. The physical and mental well-being of an individual is regarded as an individual's health. So, when we say that a particular person is healthy, if the person is healthy from physical point of view and mental point of view, means mentally healthy and physically healthy. To keep the body healthy, every human being at any age needs to have a balanced diet. So, you know what is a balanced diet? A balanced diet means the diet which should contain all the nutrients. All the nutrients means the required vitamins, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, starch, etc. So, all these things, if they are present in the diet, then it is called as a balanced diet. So, for keeping the body healthy, always we should have a balanced diet. Every human at any age, it is not only in the childhood or in the period of adolescence, it is at any age needs a balanced diet. The person must also observe personal hygiene and undertake adequate physical exercise. So, to become healthy, along with consumption of a balanced diet, the person should observe personal hygiene, cleanliness, and should undertake adequate physical exercise. So, exercise is also must. It keeps the body healthy, mind fresh. Now, during the adolescence, however, these become even more essential as the body is growing. So, as I have told that taking a balanced diet, maintaining a personal hygiene and undertaking adequate physical exercise is important at any age, but they are more important, more essential during the age of adolescence, during the period of adolescence, because during the period of adolescence the body is growing rapidly. So, students, you should always follow this. You have to consume a balanced diet. Nowadays we find some of the people are behind consumption of junk food. They like pizza, burger, etc. But you have to switch to the balanced diet instead of consuming junk food, fast food, etc. So, what is a balanced diet? It should contain simple food like chapati, bhaji, any vegetable, then salad, rice, fruits, milk, etc. So, you should have such diet. Similarly, you have to observe personal hygiene. So, for that daily taking bath and wearing washed clothes, cutting off hair, nails, etc. and many other practices you should follow, like washing hands after visiting the toilet thoroughly with soap and washing hands before taking the food. You should not use the belongings of other people, means you should not wear the clothes of others, you should not use the handkerchief of others, toothbrush of others. So, you have to maintain personal hygiene. Similarly, daily morning you should do some exercise, as these all the things are very important in your period of life. Now, let us discuss about nutritional needs of the adolescents. Why the nutrition is required, proper nutrition is required during the stage of adolescence. Adolescence is a stage of rapid growth and development. Okay, so as we have discussed that during the adolescence period, the body is growing rapidly, it is developing rapidly, development of mental, emotional, intellectual level takes place. Hence, the diet for an adolescent has to be carefully planned. You have already learnt what a balanced diet is. Okay, so as I have told that balanced diet means it should consist of all the required nutrients. Recall that a balanced diet means that the meals include proteins, carbohydrates, fats and vitamins in requisite proportions. So, your meal should include sufficient quantity of proteins, carbohydrates, fats and vitamins in required proportion. Our Indian meal of roti or rice, dal means different pulses and vegetables is a balanced meal. So, these all are very good and absolutely necessary for the proper growth of body. So, you should consume this meal, you should consume rotis, rice, dal, different pulses and vegetables. Milk is a balanced food in itself. So, consuming milk is also very important. Daily 1 glass of milk you should consume, especially in the morning. Fruits also provide nourishment. So, fruits are also very important as they provide nourishment. They are rich in proteins. So, you should include fruits in your diet. For infants, mother's milk provides all the nourishment that they need. So, small babies, they are dependent on their mother's milk and they get all the nourishment from mother's milk. Now, iron builds blood and iron rich food such as leafy vegetables, jaggery, meat, citrus, Indian gooseberry, that is amla, are very good for adolescents. So, in this period of adolescence, you should consume iron rich food, and from where you get iron rich food? In the leafy vegetables, jaggery, meat, citrus, then in amla, etc. So, you have to check items for lunch and dinner in your meal. Is the meal balanced and nutritious? You are going to find out today, and in the next session we will discuss more about this balanced diet. So, what we have discussed today? We have discussed the role of hormones in human beings, similarly the role of hormones in insects and frogs, and then we have discussed about a balanced diet. means a diet which consists of all the required nutrients. It consists of fats, oils, vitamins, proteins, etc. So, you have to adopt proper practices, that is consumption of balanced diet, then physical exercise and maintaining personal hygiene. By doing so, you will become very healthy. Okay. So, read the concepts, underline the important points and do the suggested activities. Here we will stop. Thank you.